And Joel Embiid, as Max has pointed out, is the best big man in basketball. There's no question that these guys are sensational in that regard. But I'm sorry. Last time I saw the Philadelphia 76ers, they were getting swept in the first round. Coach got fired. Doc Rivers arrived. So did Seth Curry. Tobias Harris is playing out of his mind right now. Arguably should have been an all-star. Okay? We get all of that. You got something to prove. You got to show up. Kevin Durant's a two-time champion. Kyrie's a champion. James Harden has led the league in scoring the last 3 years. And even though he hasn't been the same in the postseason, he's no scrub. And right now, he's arguably the best player in basketball the way that he has been playing. So I look at that. I look at LeBron James, title. I look at Anthony Davis, champion. That's what I see. Even with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, look at how they ball. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, once he gets back. When we talk about a dynamic duo, I know what their talent says. But when you want to be in that conversation, it's about what you do in the postseason. And I love the Philadelphia 76ers. Remember, I covered the team for many years, covering it for the Philadelphia Inquirer in Philadelphia for 17 years. Okay? I've been covering the NBA. In 10 years, I was covering that team. Love them. Still know a lot of people within the organization. They know where the hell I stand. These brothers can ball. They're big time. I get it. 19-4 with them on the floor together. Oh, that's nice. It's real good. Bravo. Bravo. When the playoffs begin? Playoffs begin in May. Am I going to see the Sixers playing in June? I better. Call me then. I want to hear nothing about Embiid and Ben Simmons. I know they big time. I know they are. But what I'm saying is big time talent demands big time results. And I ain't saying anything to them that Doc Rivers hasn't told them. They know. We'll see.
Well, what you're talking about is the coaching and the role players. They got the coach now. They got the role players too. And it's fair. It's fair for you to say your criteria, your litmus test is postseason success. They can't play in the postseason right now. We got to wait to see.
But they have.
Fair.
They've had
but
if you're asking me, 3 years.
If you're asking, no, they didn't have the role players. They didn't have the coach. If you're asking me, are they elite? The answer is yes. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons have become an elite duo. How many duos are better than them in the league? The Nets got a triple. That's the best, right? And if you said the two best are KD and Harden, that's even better. If you want to say that LeBron and AD are even better, I agree with you if they're both healthy. That's right. But look around the league at duos we consider elite, or the next thing to it, Simmons and Embiid are better than them. Lillard and McCollum when they're healthy, when McCollum's healthy. Simmons and Embiid better than those two. It's a better duo. Look at the backcourt in D.C. even right now, and they've been on a little bit of a roll. If you said Westbrook and Bradley Beal, that's an elite backcourt. Simmons, you'd rather have Simmons and Embiid as just a duo. If you looked at the Suns' backcourt, I think you could say Chris Paul and Devin Booker. But if that's not elite, that's the next thing to it. Rather have Embiid and Simmons. In fact, even Jamal Murray and Jokic, I don't know that they're better than Embiid and Simmons. I might put Embiid and Simmons as the third best duo in the league.
Sure.
That's elite to me.
Sure.
There are 30 teams. Your top 10%, your top 3? Mm-hmm. Stephen A., here's the bottom line. Embiid right now, season ended right now, he's the MVP. He's been the best offensive player, best defensive player.
Right.
Team is leading the conference. But here's the thing about Ben Simmons people are sleeping on. He has created more open looks from three since he got in the league than any other player. If you look at what he's been doing offensively last, 8, 10 games, he has been an elite player. No, he doesn't shoot, but he's been an elite offensive player, incredibly efficient, setting up teammates, scoring, doing whatever he needs to do. And that's only half the story with Simmons. Simmons is like a shutdown corner. Simmons' defense, you see when they played Portland, when he was on Lillard, Lillard is not Lillard. When he was on Doncic last night, Derek Bodner of The Athletic had it. You know, he had the stats. I forgot what they were. Doncic was getting nothing. When Lillard and Doncic were guarded by anyone else, they were themselves. But when Simmons was on them, they were less than ordinary. They weren't good offensive players. Think of the defense, too. That is two absolutely elite defenders, maybe one and two in the league right now. And on offense, they're a juggernaut. That's elite.
Well, first of all, I must confess, you annoy me. I hate listening to you talk about Ben Simmons. I'm tired of you repeating like no one knows that he's an elite defender. Every damn body knows that, okay?
Hold up.
We don't need to regurgitate that same
Hold
comment.
up. Is this coming from the guy who tells me Steph and Clay is the greatest shooting backcourt ever?
Be quiet. Well, I said the greatest shooter since mankind. That's what I said about Steph Curry,
yes,
okay?
Well, tell me
That's
something I don't know.
That's worth notice. And well, a lot of people don't think the greatest shooter since mankind. I do. But here's the deal. They think he's the greatest shooter in the game probably ever. Here's the deal. Max Kellerman, you're the guy that doesn't value the regular season. Molly, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Max that doesn't value. Hold on, say, not only do you not value the regular season, you have sat up there and said, excuse me, I don't think the MVP should be about the regular season. The MVP shouldn't be named until the postseason is over. So let me get this straight. You sat up there and said the regular season ain't about much and that the MVP shouldn't be granted until the postseason is over, but you're sitting up here and you're anointing them when I got a sweep in the first round to fall back on. And oh, by the way, when you talked about what they were lacking in terms of they didn't have the right coach, they didn't have the right role players, I recall the season before last, Jimmy Butler being on that Philadelphia 76ers team. I recall a 4 bounce before dropping in by Kawhi Leonard. That is what it took to get the Sixers out of the playoffs against Toronto because they were in Game 7 of a conference semifinals and about to go to the conference finals. So when you talk about what they haven't accomplished, you're saying they didn't have enough. You're implying they didn't have enough. That year they did, but they didn't get it done.
Stephen A., has Embiid ever played like
because
this?
Ben Simmons, excuse me.
Eyeball test. You've been watching a lot of basketball. You ever seen him in this shape?
Joel Embiid has not played like this. No, he hasn't.
All right, so it's new. This is something new.
No, what isn't new is that Ben Simmons is doing what he's been doing. He's been an elite defender. He can't shoot. He won't shoot. That's it. He can finish at the basket. He can run a team. He can play the point, but he won't shoot. And he's going to have to give me more than 15 a game in order for the Philadelphia 76ers to get out of the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. That's what I believe.
That's fair, I said. We'll find out in the playoffs. They can't play the playoffs yet. If Ben Simmons could shoot, Embiid and Simmons would be the best pair in the league, period.
I agree.
But even without him shooting, they're elite.
No. Listen, you're the guy. I had to teach you this. Giannis is the best player in the world.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
And then 4 days later, he's number 5 because I kept telling you he can't shoot.
Now,
this
Molly,
is a couple of years ago. And I'm telling you again, Ben Simmons, if he doesn't shoot the ball from the perimeter, it's going to compromise the 76ers,
now,
in
Molly,
my opinion.
Just a little window into what it means to debate on this show. I had to consider, do I bring up the fact that some of this is speculation, that it backfired with Giannis? Nah, let him bring that up if he wants. I'm not going to give that one to him. That is absolutely true. Some of this is speculation. I don't know how it works in the playoffs this year. But let me tell you what I suspect. Because of Doc Rivers, because of Seth Curry, because of the shooters that Daryl Morey put on this team, that the elite duo are going to look much better in the eyes of the public when the playoffs are over this year than they have in the past.
Molly, I'll go as far as to say this. The Sixers are so talented, so exceptionally well coached. Embiid is playing like the best player in the world right now, him and Harden, all right? And Ben Simmons is no joke. If the Philadelphia 76ers fall shy of the conference finals or lose to anyone other than Brooklyn